Okay, and now for my top 10 tips. So number one, you're gonna do the job in the way that you feel is right and the way that suits your personality. But I would encourage anyone to get creative. The things that I've done that were really effective, like creating videos and the restructure and having a really close relationship with certain members of staff and with the students, might not be what you do. You're probably going to be completely different to me, but in every single way I would encourage everybody to find a creative way that uses their strengths to do the role. So for instance, Nat really enjoys presenting, and so she started student spotlights. So that's her thing, and it's great for the students, it celebrates the students, it's video content that students can easily digest, and she loves doing it. It's a way of creatively using her strength to positively impact the students and the Students' Union. So yeah, there's no set way to do anything, so get creative. Number two, be ready to adapt. ARU London moves so quickly. 1 minute the staffing structure is one way, the next it's not. Then 5 minutes later we have another floor in East India, and then there's a whole another university moving in. Honestly, try your best to keep up, but what I mean by this point is that it's great to have a plan of how things are going to go and to plan things out and spend ages working on things, but ARU London moves so quickly, so sometimes a quick decision rather than waiting on them is the better idea. But more importantly, it's knowing that even if there's been a plan, it's been set in stone for 2 months for a certain project or something, ARU London can very quickly just change things like that, and it's really, you need to be able to adapt to it. I can't really think of an example, but okay, let's use the VLE in the election. So Ike might suddenly be told that he has to do something really big that he didn't know he had to do before, and it's so last minute, which means that then Meg and I had to stay up an extra 5 hours, or like do a bit of work that we didn't realise we'd have to do, or you know, we can no longer do it on the VLE at all. You know, that it's just not getting frustrated by that, because it's just how it happens, and it makes you stronger at the end of the day. Number three, now hopefully this video only gets in your hands, but number three is try to avoid Charles. Charles O'Dean is the head of student experience. I'm sure his title is longer than that, but he can be a difficult man, but to communicate with and to get what you want from. But more than that, it's that Dave, the principal, likes to put him in charge of most projects because it means that Dave knows what's going on all the time. But Charles isn't very organised. He doesn't always get done what you want to be done. So he was put in charge of the SU awards on the university side, and he did very little. If I need an email sent out, it would be a week before that happened, and yeah, and a lot of staff at the university do recognise this as well. He's just a bit useless. So we obviously can't change that. But yeah, just try to avoid him as much as possible. Obviously you don't want to be hiding things from Dave or Charles, but if you can go and ask Kelly or Pip or Amy Croft, then it's worthwhile doing that and then letting him know afterwards what's happened. Number four, buddy up with the Employability and the Learning Resource Centre. So as a Students' Union, we have to be engaging with students in the way that suits them and giving them the opportunities that are most relevant to them. So creating a nightclub would be completely stupid, because that's not what our students want. They want to come to ARU London, study and leave as the most employable that they can be. And that's why the employability department is so invested in ARU London. And so what I set up was a monthly meeting with the employability team to talk about how we can support each other and just try not to double up on work. Because, for instance, the employability department don't offer volunteer opportunities, but there are a lot of students who aren't necessarily in the place where they can get a job because they're studying, but they really want to volunteer and get some experience. And obviously we have our rep structure, which is great voluntary experience, so it's really great for them to know what we do, and vice versa. So Lorraine Weston, there are two Lorraines. So Lorraine Thomas is one of the heads of department. She's senior leadership team. You'll see her at the SSLCs, but Lorraine Weston is the she's not the head of employability, but she's basically that. So get to know her. She is lovely, really, really lovely woman. So get to know her and really treat those employability meetings seriously, because they are a great way for us to improve what we're doing. And the Learning Resource Centre, as discussed, they're on Zoom, over Zoom all the time. So yeah, really get to know them. We did a video for them previously, and they've worked really hard for us in terms of the election. So really get to know them. It means that if you want something up on the VLE, you contact them and they'll pop it up straight away, or they can create something. Like, yeah, can't stress that more. It's really important that we work in partnership with A London, and those two are the two that I have focused on, employability and the Learning Resource Centre. So I would advise you to do the same if you are taking over my projects. Taking over the projects that I did, they're not my projects. Okay, 5, right, we're a really small team at ARU London, and that can feel quite lonely at times, especially when we're on campus and you're in an office on your own. I would always say to people, look, it's amazing, I literally get my own office. But the downside of that is that I am all alone 9 to 5. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, it's really cool because you do essentially have your own office because we're such a small team. But yeah, it can get lonely. So I would say definitely make sure you're on a good, you know, the team are amazing, and I'll talk about them as individuals later, and what I've learned from working with them. But also get to know people from the wider SU. Really sort of put yourself out there. What's the worst that can happen, right? Get to know them. It has been difficult over the pandemic to do that, but I would go to Chelmsford once every 2 weeks just to get out there, meet them, work in a different environment, and yeah, knowing it just ties London into the rest of the team, rest of the SU. When I joined, every time London was mentioned, it would either be with a sigh or a giggle, because we are so different to them, and well, a sigh or a giggle, or they would forget us completely. And it was quite upsetting because it's exactly, you know, the only reason why I'm here. But we've done a lot of work on that in the last year, and I think growing our team and having such a team of individuals who are quite confident and creative and aren't worried about speaking up means that we have been able to be like, guys, you can't forget about London. We are huge now. We are bigger than Chelmsford in our student population, so we need to be taken seriously. Yeah, just from a mental health perspective and from a usefulness in terms of work and reaching out to people who have maybe done things before that you haven't done is, yeah, really important. So I would definitely suggest getting to know at least a handful of people from the main SU, from core. Number 6, get to know some students, because you are going to be in for a surprise. No one can prepare you for our students. A lot of them, their English is really poor. There may be situations where a student comes into the office or you speak to a student and you actually can't understand what they're saying because their English language is so poor. There is an issue with the recruitment system, but that's, you know, we can't change that. But it's interesting. If you book a room that healthcare students use and they are in there eating lunch, they will kick off. They will get angry and you will have to move. So that's something to prepare yourself for. Their priorities and their way of being can be very different to your typical British universities. So get to know them and really get in the head of them and what they want, and you'll be a much better coordinator for it. Number 7, make use of support platforms. I didn't really know what to call them. Support, help, assistance platforms, things that make your life easier. So for instance, Canva is a go-to. We don't have a comms coordinator at the minute. I mean, maybe you'll be lucky and there'll be one by the time you arrive. I really hope so. Comms is a massive burden for all of us, having to do all of that. We enjoy it, but we just don't have the time. So making use of Canva, really getting to know it, making sure you've got the pro version through joining up with the team through the ARU London account. Really, yeah, make use of Canva. You don't want to be waiting around for core comms to be putting together something for you. For the longer projects like SU Awards and Recollection for sure, but it's better to get something out there than wait and not. Other ones is Doodle Poll, really easy, really simple, really useful. Poll Everywhere, Poll EV it's known as, is a great way for presentations. Also Kahoot, great for presentations, doing quizzes. And finally Jotform, rather than creating a survey through MSL, which is really long and arduous, doing it through Jotform is really simple. You can embed it anywhere. So yes, and so for instance we use Jotforms for the vice president election. We put it on the VLE so they can nominate themselves through that, and we also put it on our website, so it's exactly the same form and all the data compiled in the same place, but you can put it in as many places as you want. You can put it in an email, anywhere. So yeah, really useful one. I'm sure there's tons more. Monday.com is what we use as an organisation, so you'll want to get to know that. But yes, okay, that's all I've got on the list, but I thought as 8, 9 and 10, unless I think of any more as I go, I will talk about the team. So 8, Nat. She's incredible. It's being on my own as a Students' Union coordinator before she arrived was great. I got real support and support from Meg, and was almost able to step up because I had to in order to take the role of 2 coordinators. But Nat has been a saving grace. She's amazing. Nat likes to, and I'm very similar to her, deadlines are really important. So if there's a deadline in the diary and you're feeling like you might not be able to make it, she doesn't mind that, but you need to let her know. So make sure that in advance you're updating her with where you are, because she'll expect you to hit that deadline, as would in any organisation. But sometimes the team can disrespect those deadlines, and she really doesn't like that, as is to be expected. So yeah, just honesty and communication with Nat are the main 2 things. Arani is wonderful. She's so supportive, so encouraging. She's, yeah, the best advisor I've ever known. And it's really great to have like once a fortnight catch-ups with her, see what's going on in the advice service and how you can help and support. Ultimately, yeah, we want to provide opportunities and experiences for our students, but number 1 comes their health and their actual place at uni. So if if anything goes wrong for them, then advice is the biggest part of why we're here to support them. But she's always looking for creative ideas of how to expand the advice service, how to promote it. So I've done a few videos for her, but she doesn't always necessarily know what she wants. So it's great, almost creative freedom to you. If you've got ideas, let her know about them, and she's almost always very keen to take them on, but doesn't always know what she wants, which with video editing I wouldn't know what I wanted if I wasn't a video editor. So yeah, just a little heads up there. And Meg is wonderful, best manager I've ever had, and I've had a lot of managers. There's not really much to say about her because she's just incredible. I mean, so are the other 2, but you learn things from working with people as to what their needs are. Meg will work all night if it means supporting you and taking some work off your shoulders. Yeah, she's amazing. She can sometimes be blunt in her messages, but that's not to be taken personally, that's just how she responds. I mean, just be completely honest with her where you are. Me and Meg have a really open, honest relationship, so when I've not been enjoying the job or when I've been thinking about moving on, I've always let her know. So in your one-to-ones, I'm sure you get the sensation that you can tell her anything and the feeling that you can trust her, but I'm here to back that up and say that you can. Having an honest and open relationship with your manager is so great. Keeping things inside only builds tension, and it's just not worth it. But I'm sure you know all of this. I'm sure, for all I know, you could have had, I don't know who you are, so I'm just giving as much advice as I can with as little knowledge about you as there is. So I hope this has all been helpful. If I think of anything else that you'll need to know, then I will create a video, which you'll probably have already watched. So what I'm saying is now pointless. I do hope to be staying in contact with AOU London and potentially be back for content to do welcome video, or who knows. But you're always welcome to reach out if you do have any questions. That's absolutely fine. You can find me on social media, and I'm sure they'll pass over my number if you do want to give me a call at any point. But enjoy it, enjoy the role. It's really exciting. You're at an amazing stage, about to get hopefully a lot of money to grow the SU, and yeah, you're joining it at a brilliant time, so enjoy it. Oh, one more thing I will say that is a bit weird about the job is that it comes in waves. You will be stupidly busy, like ridiculously busy, and then the next week you'll be sat at your desk thinking, I don't know what to do. And you'll be there for like half an hour thinking, I'm getting paid and I'm doing nothing, like, But you've got to remember, it comes in waves, and sometimes you will have less to do and you will be able to sit back and think, And the thing is with that is you can't necessarily, in those situations, you can't pick up more projects because you're going to get busy in 2 weeks' time. So if you pick up a project to fill that time, you'll then be overloaded when the busy period hits. So I would say in those situations where you feel like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to do, like I should be doing something, choose something like working on your self-development and your professional development in that situation. Do some more research about a certain project or organise stuff. Talk to more students, but don't pick up more projects because you will get super busy and then you'll be like, this is why. Yeah, I really appreciate the quiet moments because the busy ones are super busy. But yes, that is all from me. Best of luck, and I look forward to seeing your contribution over social media and yeah, keeping in contact. So bye.